DC is really cooking because we got news about new characters that will and won't be in the Batman Part 2 straight from James Gunn himself, updates on Superman versus the Fantastic Four at the box office, Peacemaker Season 2 brand new info, and so much more. Let's get into it. And let's start off with some Superman box office updates because there's a lot to get into here. First of all, it is now the highest grossing Superman movie of all time at the domestic box office, passing Batman versus Superman. Now, in total, it's going to make less than Batman versus Superman because of the international numbers. And this is really a huge success for DC because now we know Superman's going to finish around $640 to $680 million worldwide. It shows that superhero fatigue isn't really a thing in the United States. It's just the overseas numbers that are really hurting. Just for some comparison, the Fantastic Four First Steps is looking like it's going to finish at around $490 to $510 million, which again, this movie is a success in its own right. It's breaking even at the box office. They made tons of money off of different brand deals and advertisements with the Fantastic Four characters. Marvel is making money off this, but I think despite the fact that Superman is a more famous character than the Fantastic Four, I feel like everybody would have been shocked if you told them a couple months ago that the Fantastic Four was going to make over $150 million less at the box office than Superman worldwide. This is suffering from the same thing. Like, the domestic numbers are fine and not amazing in the United States, but overseas, again, people really don't care about superhero movies. They'd rather go see Jurassic World Rebirth or F1 or something else. Plus, James Gunn responded to somebody on Threads who said, like, people are saying that the movie needs to make $650 million to break even and be a success, and James Gunn said that's absolutely false. Anybody that says that does not have an understanding of the film business, and we would be idiots to make a first in a franchise film that would need to make that much to be profitable. You do just have to remember, like, the MCU started with Iron Man, the Captain America, the first Avenger, the first Thor movie that were all big and successful at the box office. None of them were billion-dollar films. The franchise just continued to grow with more sequels, the team-up movies, and as more audience members got involved in that universe. The same thing's probably going to happen with DC if they keep up this quality. Also now know that on August 26th, the film will be released digitally for you to be able to rent. It's probably going to cost like $20, $25 to rent, so more expensive than a ticket. And again, I see a lot of people being like, oh no, it's too short. Why are they pulling it out of theaters too soon? And honestly, I don't see a problem with 45 days. That's plenty of time to go and see in theaters. Like we said, the movie's almost making $700 million in its total run. And plus, DC still makes a ton of money from people renting this or buying Max subscriptions in a little bit to watch the movie at home. And plus, we just have to accept the fact that there's simply a lot of people nowadays that are just never going to go to a movie theater. They're always going to wait for movies to come out at home. So they're going to make tons of money from this being out on video on demand. So it's not like they're losing money by pulling it out of theaters. They're probably going to make more, honestly, not having to share that revenue with theaters. Let's pivot into some Batman Part 2 news because there were reports going around the other day from a pretty unreputable insider that Robin was going to be in the movie. And I never made a video talking about this because, again, the insider is not that reputable. And I'm very happy I never made a video on it because now James Gunn straight up responded to somebody posting this on Threads, and he says, guys, please stop believing this nonsense. I think 6 of us have read the script so far in the world, and nobody knows anything about the Batman Part 2 besides those 6 people. Honestly, I really love how transparent James Gunn is. He always just comes out and debunks these scoopers, gives us updates on different scripts that are in the work, who's doing what films he's writing, and it's just kind of refreshing to have like a huge studio executive kind of just be this open with the fans that are so involved in the franchise. We are only 10 days away from Peacemaker Season 2. This releases on August 21st on Max, obviously, and it's going to be weekly releases for the new episodes. We do know that the events of Superman are going to directly tie into the series. We don't know exactly what that means, but James Gunn has confirmed that the events will play a huge part in this series, and that there are going to be lots of fun surprises and cameos in the show too. I think it's very likely we do see David Cornstar's Superman show up in at least one of these at the very end, maybe. Now, if you're wondering how this is going to work, since Peacemaker Season 1 was a part of the old DCEU that is now being rebooted, but yet we're still getting a second season of Peacemaker, James Gunn has said that when you first start Season 2, there's going to be a recap of things that happened in Season 1. Everything shown or talked about in the recap is officially canon in this new DC universe. So it's a little messy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's the greatest idea to carry this over from the old DCEU. I feel like you should have just started completely fresh, but I understand it. This series was an absolute hit, and it's James Gunn's own thing that he writes and directs. Obviously, he didn't want to just can it. What I'm really curious to see is if James Gunn's The Suicide Squad movie is confirmed to be canon to this new DCU or not, because obviously Peacemaker is from this movie. That's where he saw him first, and we know that in Season 1 of Peacemaker, they do reference the events of the Suicide Squad. So if they show that in the recap, that means this movie's canon to the new DC universe, and like Margot Robbie might be coming back as Harley Quinn, which again would be a little bit too messy, even though I do think Margot Robbie is a perfect casting for Harley Quinn. She first played her back in 2016. I really don't know if you should be bringing her over to this new DC universe, but who knows? I guess they could just have a fresh version of the character. You know, your thoughts on all this? Are you excited for Peacemaker Season 2? Are you gonna watch Superman when it comes out on home video, and so much more? If you want to hear about some crazy Marvel news we got about Avengers Doomsday, click the video above my head right now, and thank you so much for watching.